everyone, Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. Got a very early start this morning. Something was bugging Hudson, and so he was woof, woof, very early this morning. So I got up and came to play, and of course handsome hubby was still asleep, so I am dubbing this video in. So still a fun project. I was just at a little coffee shop with handsome hubby, Steel Town Coffee Shop, Steel Town Cafe, anyway, and in Pittsburgh, and I met a young man, Jason. So Jason, if you are watching this video, thank you. Thanks for pulling me aside and telling me that you've watched the YouTube channels. I appreciate the support. And Dana, thank you for the box of goodies. The seed beads, of course, burst out of their bag and were decorating as much of the house as they could. So that is very fun, like confetti, bead confetti. So fun little project. Worked with a couple of old book covers because, of course, we know that I have books that cannot be altered, and the pages make great underpants and the covers make great pieces of art. So enough from me. See you on the table. All right, here's your project for today. A couple of old book covers, some corrugated cardboard, some underpants, some texture paste, some distress inks, ink oxide, stencil. This is an old slide cover, I think. I just put an image on the inside of it. So, fun little project. Well, good morning. Dark o'clock. Handsome hubby is still asleep, and of course, I want to play. So, some supplies we're gonna play with: the stencil, texture paste. That's an ink that I never even used today, so we'll forget about that. The trilogy of rust pastes, the crocodile. That's a metal slide from an old photo slide, I believe. And this is a book of children's old images of children. I will include some of those in the Patreon benefits. Some corrugated cardboard, a book cover. I ended up using 2 old book covers, some underpants, some hemp twine, and some eyelets. Black gesso is sitting on my workspace, and I'm never going to use that today. So, all right, let's start rusting that photo slide. It is metal. And we'll start off with the brown texture paste that's so grungy and gritty. It's so much fun to play with. And a little bit of the gold. And you just kind of dab it on. If you have a stipple brush that's tiny, you can use on this little piece fine. I just use a flat brush. Works just fine though. And then a little bit of the orange. Stipple that on as well. And then I wanted to try the green. So I put just a little touch of the lime green on my workspace and added that in just a little bit. And then we'll set that aside to dry. I tried to get all the sides done so that when it was dried, it was ready to play with. All right, let's bring in I did use 2 old book covers. This is the first one. I'm going to go ahead and put some fun underpants on it with my Mod Podge and my baby blue. You know me, I like my underpants straight. Just cover your book cover with some underpants. Enjoy the moment. now I took some yellowed underpants and just put a few pieces of that around. This was left over from a different project, just to get some variety in the background. Now I'm going to look through this book and see if I can find an image of a child. These are very fun. Like I say, I'm going to include a couple of these in the Patreon benefits with this piece. So I took the little frame and decided what I wanted. Let's see how big I need it. Picture of two girls, and one girl's going to make it into the frame, not the other one. Tearing it toward me so that I don't have the white edge showing. And a piece of handwritten underpants or ephemera. A little bit of Mod Podge on the back of that picture. Slap it down. Now while that's drying, I am going to put some texture paste on that little book cover. And this is our homemade texture paste, which I adore. And so just smear it through that stencil. The stencil happens to be about the same size as the book cover, so that worked out well. Lift it up carefully. Ooh, and our first ta-da. We're going to set that aside and let that dry. Bringing out the corrugated cardboard. Cut a heart. Just a wonky heart. I'm not much of a Hallmark heart girl. I like mine kind of tall and irregular. This is from a shipping box. I'm going to pull some of the first sheet off to expose the corrugated. Some will come off and some will not. That's perfect. I'm going to add a little bit of ephemera onto the heart with some Mod Podge. Give it some energy. I'm going to get the photo ready for that metal photo slide that's all nice and rusted. A piece of cardboard, cut it to about the size you need it. Fits in there perfectly. Yay! Take my ephemera and my image of my little girl. Cut it to the right size, of course. Handwritten ephemera, love that. Put some Mod Podge on the back of that image. Or on the cardboard. And then I'll put some Mod Podge on the front of that image as well to keep it protected.
Now I'll run a bead of the tacky glue just around the edge so that when I put it in the photo slide thingy, it'll stay. Looks good on the heart. Clean up the edge of the heart. And then the peeled paint, kind of a greenish color. Hit the high points on that heart, the corrugated, fix it up so nice, and around the edges. Smush it around. Get those fingers dirty. Grab the vintage photo, Distress ink, do about the same thing around the edge. Get some dimension. Get some of those ridges on the corrugated cardboard. That looks pretty good. Alright, tacky glue on the back of the cardboard, which is on the back of that image, which is on the back of that photo slide thingy. Set it where you want it on the heart. Bring in a bag of rice, or in my case, quinoa. And set it on there. Hold it down nicely. Thank you, whichever YouTuber gave me that tip. That's a valuable tip. Alright, the texture paste is dry. Bring in the peeled paint. Distress ink in. Just smooching it up. You can actually see the underpants underneath, which is a treat. Don't get to see that very often. Smooch that around with your fingers, blend that in nicely. And the vintage photo. Blend it up with the vintage photo. Yum, yum, yum. Alright, now we're going to cut a window in there so that we can put that heart in the window. So we have to kind of size it up, see where we want it to go, kind of play with it. I'm going to use a piece of cardboard as a template so I know what size to make the window. Yep, that looks pretty good. So I'll take that template and place it on the back of the book cover. Trace around it with a pen. Get ready to cut that out with my X-Acto cutter on the mat cutter. Get my ruler in there. That'll help me make a straight line. I could use all the help I can get making a straight line. And away we go. Let's cut it out. Cut it out. I love quiet time on the table. All right, remove it. So we have a fresh edge there, so I just brought the vintage photo distress ink back in to grunge that edge up. Oh, might as well grunge the whole thing up while I'm here. Inside that frame, get my finger in there and smush it around. All right, this is Wild Honey. This is the oxide ink, which is a little bit more opaque than the distress inks. It's just another layer of fun. Ooh, and my favorite, bring in some sandpaper. Lift that up. Rough up the edges of the book cover. Love that. And it is Stabilo time. Go around the edges of the book cover, the edges of the window. I'm a spit and smudge girl. Do what you need to do around that. Oh yeah, looking good. Alright, that's where the heart's going to go. A bit more energy. A little bit more energy. Is when you let the piece just talk to you. Should come alive before your very eyes. Alright, we're going to bring the crocodile in using the smallest hole punch on the crocodile. And we'll punch 2 holes at the top, one in each heart lobe, and then one in the heart point. And since we're using the small hole punch, we will need small eyelets and the crocodile installer on the small eyelet installer. An eyelet in each hole. I do have a video on how to use the crocodile if you need that. They're pretty amazing. Hole punches and installers. Alright, bring the book cover back in. It's going to be attached, the heart's going to be attached to the book cover with some twine. So decide where the holes need to be. And I just kind of worked straight up from the holes, straight up at the top, straight down on the bottom. And I just marked a little spot there. Come in with the crocodile and pop 3 holes, 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Now we'll install some eyelets in those 3 holes.
Okay, yippee, handsome hubby is finally awake. So I'm going to grab my hemp string, my hemp twine, and just cut a few pieces. And I'm just going to shoot that twine through the back of that hole and through the back of that one. And we'll just give that a little tie. Grab another one, do the same thing. Oh, that's a long one. Through the back. And through the bottom. I was very generous with that twine. Leave as much string hanging as you want. I'm bringing in another old book cover, and this is going to go on there. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, I'm going to just sand the edges here. I'm going to bring in my tacky glue. Just going to smear that around with my finger. Place that on my second book cover. I'm going to put some tacky glue on the heart. Okay, place this on the book cover. Put my bag of quinoa back on top. And let that dry. Sun is out. It's almost time to walk the dog. I'm just taking the vintage photo distress ink and going around the edge of the second book cover. Grunge that up a little bit. I would love some grunge inside here. So let's see if we can get in there a little bit. There we go. Oh, I'm a sucker for the dark. Yes, I am. Vintage photo distress ink all around. Okay, there it is. If I would stop playing, we would be done. Okay, there it is. So much fun. A couple of old book covers and some corrugated cardboard and a picture. How fun. All right, your turn. Go create, go play, go have fun.